We are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. The mad lad actually did it. Donald Trump just signed off on the release of the JFK, RFK, and MLK files. Promises made, promises kept. You know what might be next? Might be that old Jeffrey list. Now, of course, I want more than the list in that particular case. I want the evidence so people can actually receive justice, but not everyone's happy, I guess, about these files being released, and some pretty interesting stuff coming out about MLK. And of course, it's tough to believe anything, the government says outright, especially, given what we've seen over the past 8 or 10 years. But let's take a look at everything here. We'll discuss this more in depth on my live stream today with Luke Rudkowski, by the way. If you can download the Rumble app and tune in before at 1 o'clock, follow the Quartering. If you're a YouTube-only viewer, please do subscribe or follow to Quartercast, which will be linked in the pinned comment down below or in the description. We're live every day at 1 Eastern. Fridays are Luke Rudkowski. Otherwise, I have Styx, Hannah Claire, Melanie Mack, Gothics, and more as regular co-hosts on the show, too. Now, here we have Trump signs order directing the release of the JFK files. That's the first big one. Now, many believe, obviously, that the government did it, that he spoke out pretty loudly against one particular organization's involvement in the U.S. government, and not shortly after that, he was gone. Maybe these files will help prove that. President Trump signed an executive order Thursday directing the release of federal government documents related to John F. Kennedy, former Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. Now, this was a promise he made to RFK and his constituents, and it is yet another promise kept. He also freed Ross Ulbricht as well. The order directs the Director of National Intelligence and Attorney General to present a plan within 15 days for the full and complete release of records relating to John F. Kennedy. Now, the full and complete is the extremely important part of this. When I first heard that they were going to release the files, I was like, great, it's going to be a bunch of black lines on the page. We're not going to see anything because it's going to all be redacted. This says full and complete. That, I would assume, means it is not allowed to be redacted. I have now determined that the continued redaction and withholding of the information from the records pertaining to what happened to John F. Kennedy is not consistent with the public interest, and the release of these records is long overdue, the order states. And although no act of Congress directs the release of the information pertaining to what happened to Robert F. Kennedy and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, I have determined the release of all those records in the federal government's possession pertaining to each of those incidents as well, also in the public interest. I mean, the deep state has to be absolutely losing their mind, right? Like, absolutely. Has to be completely bonkers. Trump promised during his 2024 campaign that he would declassify remaining government documents about JFK and the remaining point of public interest decades after he lost his life in 1963. Trump made the same pledge during his first term, but ultimately kept the documents under wraps amid intelligence concerns. Well, now that he doesn't have to worry about getting reelected, and now that they tried to literally take his life, it seems like he doesn't care. John F. Kennedy was what happened to JFK back in Dallas in 1963. Various theories have persisted about CIA involvement or the existence of a second person being involved. The National Archives in 2022 released nearly 13,000 new files related to the incident, the largest dump since 2018. Lawmakers in 1992 passed legislation requiring all remaining government records about the incident to be released by October 2017 unless they pose certain risks to national defense or intelligence. Well, that's what we want to know. Like, that's what we want to know. You get that, right? We want to know. We want to know if you're involved. That's what we want to know. We want to know if the government was involved. Of course, you see this. So, the MLK stuff, we see some of these files circulating about MLK as well. This apparently King's personal conduct, with the funds he had received from the Ford Foundation, King held one of the first 2 workshops. One minister in attendance later expressed his disgust for what went on behind the scenes. Drinking, fornication, dude-on-dude action that went on at the conference. Several prostitutes were brought in from the Miami area. All-night hookups were held with these people and some delegates in attendance. One room had a large table in it, which was filled with whiskey. 2 pros were paid $50 to put on a show for the people. Apparently, Dr. King liked to party. He had mistresses, all this kind of stuff. Kingman writing, was having dude-on-dude hookups MLK Jr.'s dream. Maybe the guy was flawed. Maybe he wasn't. Of course, the baby boy references are coming up. So he was literally like any other man of influence privately. Never thought he was Jesus. Just very influential and intelligent black man who wanted fairness. Maybe that's all true. If he was banging a dude, does that really mean that, his I have a dream speech is irrelevant? I don't think so. At least not for me. Now you have JFK's grandson issue stern message to Trump after decision to release classified files. Jack Schlossberg issued a harsh rebuke to Donald Trump after his order to declassify all remaining documents about what happened in 1963. The last secret files about what happened to Kennedy can now be published after President Trump order on Thursday declassifying all remaining documents. Schlossberg, JFK's only grandson and social media darling, took to X to furiously criticize the files release and the hype over the information finally coming out. The truth is a lot sadder than the myth, a tragedy that didn't need to happen, Schlossberg wrote on Thursday. The liberal journalist and lawyer then criticized President Trump for using his grandfather's passing to score political points. Bro, this story is a little bit bigger than your grandfather, okay? I doubt you even knew him. You know what I mean? So not a part of the inevitable grand scheme. Declassification is using JFK's political prop when he's not here to punch back. There's nothing heroic about it. What are you talking about, dude? This is about way more than your hurt feelings, grandson who probably never knew his granddad. Almost certainly never knew him. Right? Of course, that's a big one, huh? He wrote as he scrawled his signature over the order. Before asking for a pen be given to RFK Jr., a lot of people have been waiting for this for a long time. Everything will be revealed. Here he has JFK, conspiracy theories are said. Truth is, let's actually see JBK Schlossenberg. Let's see what people are saying. I'm wondering. I mean, it's not like he's his wife or something like that. JBK Schlossenberg. Let's see if he's melting down about this. Social media darling. He only has 100,000 followers. Here. And it only had 18,000 likes. Have you reviewed the files? Have you read the documents? What puts you in the position to know what's being declassified and released, if anything? I know everything, dick. How could you? How could you know everything? JFK would be absolutely ashamed of what his kin has become. This is such a profoundly odd approach to take as the nephew of JFK has searched and worked for transparency for years. Talking about RFK, I imagine. Why is it that your family is so intent on betraying each other over politics? That's so dirty and gross. With all respect to the fact that you're a family, JFK was our president, all of ours. We deserve to know the truth just as much as anyone else. So you're part of the cover-up. Sit down and be quiet. Yeah, this didn't exactly go. It looks like this didn't exactly go how this dork wanted. And again, we'll see what we see. Will there be any bombshells in it? I'm not exactly like convinced. That doesn't mean there won't be. Here's the video.
That's a big one, huh? Okay.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years.
Including,
decades.
yeah, the American people have been waiting.
And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to
Bobby.
RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I mean, how can you not be pumped about this? How could liberals have any issue at all? By the way, this is what you get, deep state. This is what you get. This is what you get for trying to take out Trump. It is my opinion that what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania was at the very minimum facilitated by the deep state or government agencies. That's just my opinion. I'm not here saying that's exactly the truth because I can't prove that. You missed. And now Donald Trump is in office and he's lifting the lid on all of your shenanigans. I'm 110% in support of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.